thought, right? So how frequent do we need to maintain? So I always like to use this story or this example. The Buddha is asking his disciples or the monks, asking them, how often do you recollect on the reflection on death? So there's this particular meditation you need to reflect. One day I will pass away. No, that's a reflection. Yeah, it's not that I want to die. No, it's one day I'm subject to death. So that is the reflection. So the Buddha asked his monks, how often do you recollect this Marana Sati, and this contemplation on death? So one of the students answered, every year, during my birthday that time I get closer to death. And the Buddha said, no, too slow, not good enough. And another student said, every month, every new moon, full moon, I think of death. Then the Buddha said, no, not good enough. Another one said, every week, also not good. Another one said, every day. Every time when I wake up, it's like I'm born, Then every time I go to sleep, it's like passing away. And the Buddha said, no, not good enough, too slow. And then the model student answered, he said, every in and out breath. Every time I breathe in, I'm getting closer to death. Every time I breathe out, closer to death. That's the rate of reflection per minute we need to generate in our meditation. So a lot of times people think meditation is sit there, do nothing. If you sit there, do nothing means finish. Finish. That's what we do before we go and sleep. We sit there, we lie down and do nothing. Then we can sleep, right? So if we meditate, we sit there and do nothing and finish. We are sleeping. And some people think meditation very good because they sit there and do nothing and they're sleeping. Afterwards, time up, alarm ring. And then they get up. Then they tell you, meditation very good, very refreshing. Yeah, recharge the mind, so alert after meditation. Because sleeping. Or some people more still can sit and sleep. Sleeping, dozing off. Some people even better still, snoring. While straight, back straight and snoring. Yeah, then they tell you, meditation very refreshing, but actually sleeping. So there are ways to reach peace. So sleeping, we call this the unskillful way, the mundane way of reaching peace. So meditation requires effort, constant effort. So we call this training. So meditation is not relaxing. Meditation is training actually. Training to reach peace. So there is a deliberate effort. Why is there a need to do so? Because once we start to do nothing only, we just have an experiment. If you just relax and do nothing, what will happen to the mind? Yeah, wandering all over the place, right? So if you spend, let's say, 1 hour sitting and do nothing, it'll be 1 hour wandering. 1 hour wandering. So what do you learn? What do you learn from the 1 hour wandering? So there's no Dhamma. There's no Dhamma in wandering. Yeah. So so what we are going to do, or rather, I'm going to give another example. Basically, to show how fast is our defilement, how fast is our clinging and suffering, how fast is our clinging and suffering. Right? There's this science or neuroscientists, they create this experiment. They create this robot arm that if a person were to, let's say, wear a helmet, can actually link the function of the hand to the arms. So if, let's say, the person move their arm, they move and close their fingers, the robot arm will also replicate, close the finger. Then if they open their fingers, then the robot arm will also follow, open their fingers. So the test subjects were put in a room, they have a curtain to cover up the actual arm. So the robot arm is here, the actual arm is here, so they can play and they only can see the robot arm. So they see the robot arm. So after some time, when they familiarize the arm already, then this the person doing the experiment will come out, take a hammer and smash the arm. Smash the arm. And then the test subject all get very shocked or very upset. Hey, why you smash the arm? So this is experiment is trying to prove attachment, sense of this belonging, sense of this item belonging to you. So initially the robot arm doesn't belong to them. But then because they associate with sometimes they become part of their experience, part of their lived experience. So in daily life also the same thing. We will grow attachment very fast. Yeah, when we just pay attention, our body is like throughout our whole life. So become from not hours to hours. My body, my clothes, my house, my car, my this, my that. If you come here for some time, my retreat center. Yeah. So if you associate something for some time, you sit here, it can become my cushion, my sitting spot, my room. Yeah. Then after, you'll be like this if you do not reflect properly. If you let your thoughts drift, if you go to this direction, it's either right thought or wrong thought. Like that. That's all. So if you do not put in effort to a right thought, you will definitely go to wrong thought. Yeah. So this is the issue. Yeah. So our inner defilement, our programming, is designed to go to wrong thought. Is designed to cling, designed to have greed, anger, or delusion. That's we call it the reptilian brain kind of design. Yeah? So it's meant to go in this direction. So we need to activate this higher brain function that needs to deliberately think how to overcome this greed and hatred. So there must be a deliberate effort every second, every moment to break off this clinging. To break off this clinging. Every second, break off this clinging. So the theme is called Against the Stream. Yeah, against the stream. So the stream represents craving. So the craving flow in certain direction. So we are like maybe down the stream trying to row up or swim up the stream. Yeah, so every time we generate a right thought, it's like we row one time. If you do not row only, then bye-bye. Go with the flow, then finish, that's it. We follow the craving. So every time we generate right thought, every second we are like rowing. So initially it's a tough process. But after some time, when there's enough momentum or when the conditions are right, we reach a flat ground or the level of the ground is in a different direction, it'll be easier for you. So initially it may be a tough process. Every moment must keep generating right thought. Every moment generate right thought. So throughout the meditation routine, I'll keep nagging. I'll ask you keep thinking of this, keep thinking of this. So that's my style. So I'll keep nagging until it becomes a habit. So when you do on your own, you also hear my voice in your mind. So it'll be a natural tape recorder. Huh? You don't need a tape recorder. You think of my voice already. You think of, please have loving kindness. Please think of impermanence. So you need to think of right thoughts. So these two right thoughts, either loving kindness or impermanence. These two things. That's all. Every meditation object, from breath meditation to whatever, maybe a Buddha or whatever chanting, you need to have right thought. If you do not have loving kindness and impermanence, what happens is people will cling. For example, breath meditation. If you do not have right reflection, people want to control. Then they do. Then the face like constipation, like that. They force. Then you have this problem. A lot of suffering, a lot of greed. You want to control the mind. Then you get aversion because the mind cannot be controlled. The mind always runs. Then you're so angry, so frustrated. So the more you see, the more suffering, the more anger. So you're creating more bad karma because you keep on generating unwholesome thought. You do not have the right technique, the skillful technique. So the advice, or rather suitable for most people, is intentional labeling. Intentional labeling. That means the first step is loving kindness. First wish you well, happy. Until you make peace. You make peace with that object already, then you think of impermanence. So same with any other meditation object. Like we think of, let's say it's a visualization object. You think of the hair, right? Think of the hair. If you straight away think of impermanence, finish. Straight away think of impermanence, my hair fall down. Then you start to worry. I start to grow botak already, must think of this Yunnan hair care center, right? How to take care of my hair, how to make my hair grow back. Then you start to worry because the mind is not in the right frame of mind. You need to have peace first. You need to have peace. Once the mind is at peace, it's calm, then you can think rationally. Then you can think of impermanence. So you think of loving kindness, wish you well, happy. Then once the mind is at peace and happy and calm, then you think of impermanence. Yeah, then it start to make sense. Right? So we have two phases, loving kindness and impermanence. So chanting also the same thing. Some people chant until so angry, right? Or they chant, distracted. They let the mind autopilot, they chant and autopilot. Right? So we need to intentionally label. Intentional label. So we call this right thought, part of the Eightfold Path. So you have no thought, it's not part of the Eightfold Path. You need to have right thought. Intentional labeling. So that's part of the process. Okay, so we are mainly doing four things, or rather three kinds of meditation. First one is loving kindness, four sublime states, so we're doing four kinds of meditation actually. And we are doing impurities of the body meditation and the breath meditation. And if possible, the last one, open awareness kind of vipassana. So there are four different styles. So different situations, you need different tools, because all these play around with different cognitive function. So the impurities of the body play with visualization, because in daily life we need to visualize something, right? We need to plan, or you need to fantasize. I want to get this object, I want to get this, buy this new latest model or whatever thing. So you need to have a visualized object. So this routine, this practice is learn how to detach from this visualized image. So this is one of the routine. For example, martial arts. Martial arts. Who got learn martial arts here? Only one person. What you learn? Wing Chun. Okay. So for Wing Chun, you have maybe like a dummy, like a wooden dummy, or a sparring partner, right? To test your moves, to correct the moves or perfect the moves, right? You don't straight away go into a competition and fight another person, right? Yeah, so same thing. This routine, the things that we do all the time may look repetitive, but it's like martial arts. We train a certain skill over and over again, so that in everyday life, in everyday real life situation, every contact is actually real life enemy attacking you. Real life enemy attacking you. When maybe your phone call, somebody ring, want to look for you. That's another kind of sense attack already. So when you have this so-called peace, this conducive environment, it's a bit like a training ground. It's like a training ground. You hit the dummy or hit the punching bag. It's a training. It's just to train the routine over and over again to get the moves right, learn how to detach, how to reflect correctly, and experience the joy of detachment. Minimum, experience the joy of detachment. So at least you know you're in the right direction. If the more you meditate, or throughout the whole retreat, no joy at all, total suffering, total stress, that means you did not take away anything. That means it's a waste of your time. So make sure you do the steps correctly and experience something positive. That's why also we have interview session. If let's say you practice, no matter how I give instruction, you still cannot get anything, come for interview. Come for interview. That means you need private tuition. So we have, maybe we sit somewhere down there when the group is meditating, then we can have this discussion. Okay, so we have private interview. And then, yeah, so that's about practice, routine. So we need to perfect the routine in all these meditation objects. Okay, so that's more or less about it. Any questions for the moment? Any issues? If not, I'll give you some time to do a bit of stretching, because you'll be sitting here for quite some time. So I do not want to torture you by making you sit longer. Then we have loving kindness meditation. So that is got to do with expanded mind. When our mind is in an expanded area, our mind cannot be imagining all the time. Sometimes we need to look at the surrounding, or we cross the road, we need to look at the traffic. So there must be a wide area of attention. So in that wide area of attention, how can we generate good thoughts, or how can we practice detachment? So that is another kind of training. And then we have breath meditation. So that's a restricted form of meditation. Restricted mind. So when the mind is in a small area, when we're reading something, right? We have a small area of attention. Also how to practice right intention and detachment. So that's another kind of training. And eventually open awareness, when the mind is relaxed and like we mentioned earlier, zobo, right? Do nothing. Also can practice detachment. when the mind is in open freestyle mode, when the mind is running around, also can practice gaining wisdom. So that is the last style, open awareness. Okay, so these are the few cognitive functions we'll be training or covering in the meditation. So now we are going to talk about your hardware, the sitting, the posture, right? So actually, I don't care about what posture. Posture to me secondary. But because this is a formal class, a formal session, sometimes not so nice. You start walking around when I'm teaching, right? So so you need to sit. So for formal sitting, we have some guidelines, but in actual life, this should be applied every moment. Standing, sitting, walking, lying down, doing your activities also must generate this right thought. That means your right reflection. Okay, so for formal sitting, maybe I need a model. Anybody know how to do full lotus here? Full lotus. Okay, so Han will demonstrate. So she do full lotus. Okay, so we normally start off with the base. We check, have a checklist, start from the base of our body. So the feet, if a person do full lotus, the benefit is all the feet touching the ground. That means all the base of the feet touching the ground, very wide surface area, a very stable position. So that's the benefit of full lotus posture. And usually you don't need an additional this backrest, this rectangular thing to raise your back, because the angle seems like just nice. So this is the plus point for full lotus posture. But if you cannot do full lotus posture, don't worry. We have 50% discount. We call this the half lotus posture. So half lotus posture, like some of you doing already. One leg above the other, one leg above the other. So that is half lotus posture, right? So half lotus posture, the disadvantage will be one feet will be touching the ground, one feet will be lifted. So you feel a bit lopsided. Plus, in meditation, ideally, we have our torso and our feet at least 90 degrees apart. 90 degrees apart. So if you sit half lotus or anything less than full lotus, you'll be acute angle. So your torso and your feet will be acute angle. So you feel compressed. And that's why you need this additional backrest. Yes? It's shrunk. You might need a sitting full lotus. Yeah, full lotus. Pain, okay, if you cannot, then you try another position. You try half lotus. Yeah, you can try. Okay, you try using this. Yeah, okay. So who cannot do half lotus? All can do half lotus. Okay, if you still cannot do half lotus, don't worry, there's more discount. We have this thing called the Burmese style sitting posture. One leg in front, one leg behind. So no crossing, no overlapping. One leg in front, one leg behind. So I call this the parallel parking. One leg in front, one leg behind. So the benefit also, all the feet touching the ground, but one also might need this backrest to raise the backside. Okay, then if you still cannot sit the Burmese style, then don't worry, there's more discount. We have the normal sitting posture. Like myself, I sit normal sitting posture. So you sit normal sitting posture, like this Xinyan. Normal sitting posture. But because you come to meditation class or meditation retreat, sometimes people ask you, hey, what posture you sit? Then you tell people, I sit normal sitting. A bit malu, right? A bit paise. So you can give a new name. I give this full lotus inverted posture. Full lotus is both feet on top. So this one is both feet below. So we call this full lotus inverted posture. So it sounds more professional. Then people think, wow, what kind of yoga pose is this? Full lotus inverted. So this is the professional name, but you know it's normal sitting posture. Okay. So the idea is once your base is okay, you find your base okay, then we shift up and check our lower spine. So lower spine, if you want to keep your back upright effortlessly, you can try tilting your lower spine maybe half a degree in front or 1 degree in front. Find this center of gravity, that you tilt a bit. The rest of the body like naturally upright. Don't need to kick so hard. Don't need to use a lot of core muscle to adjust your body upright. Can find some. You don't have to tilt too much and fall down. So you tilt a bit, naturally upright one. Yeah. So you find the correct angle. That means you don't need so much muscle to strain yourself. So like effortless. Yeah. Okay, once you find this, okay. Okay, then once you're okay, then next you look at the shoulder. So the shoulder, one of the recommended posture is like what the Buddha is sitting. So both hand on top of your leg, on your kneecap, on your thigh, doesn't matter. The whole idea is don't strain your shoulder. Some Buddha image, they put the hand like that one. You don't strain your shoulder, don't follow the Buddha. You try to find the posture that doesn't strain the shoulder. Relax the shoulder, and then your hand position must be stable. Don't do some funny pose, then later your hand drop off, or your finger like that. Then you care about your finger. I lose my position already, then you come back. Then you relax, and start to open. And become crab pincer meditation. Yeah, crab pincer meditation. So we don't want that. So we find a stable posture. That's for the hands. Next, for the neck. For the neck, we, if possible, we can tuck our chin a bit. So you can pull the neck or pull the spine. Pull the spinal cord a bit. Don't need to tuck in too much. Don't choke yourself. Just a bit. Find the correct angle to straighten the spine. And for the tongue, if you have a lot of saliva problem, salivating, then you can use your tongue to touch the upper palate of your mouth, which is above the upper row of your teeth, or behind the upper row of your teeth. So it creates like a dam. The tongue becomes a dam to block off the saliva. Some people sit halfway, then they keep choking themselves, they're coughing. They choke their own saliva. So we need your tongue to block the saliva. Other than that, then the eyes relax. Throughout the session, because this is supposedly a safe environment, no traffic or anything, if possible, you can gaze downwards. Gentle gaze, no staring, no fixing, no squinting. So again, gentle gaze, like Buddha image, Buddha gaze downward. You never see Buddha image like that one. Buddha like no do window shopping. So you're walking, you're sitting, also gaze downward. There's a difference. You try gazing upwards and gazing downwards. See what's the difference? Which one is calmer? Gazing downwards, not too much distraction. So you gaze downwards, we call controlling of the senses. Controlling of the senses, we call it sense restraint. That's why we have all the additional preset, not to watch what entertainment and all those stuff. So all these are safeguards to create a more conducive environment for this restraint. So for the Buddhist preset, we call this quite moderate already. The other religion, ascetic, they have more extreme kind of preset to create this kind of peace. So we have this moderation. Okay, so once we have this set up, then we can relax. If you want, you can close your eyes. Whole idea is no squinting, we are not forcing, we are not controlling anything, not using any muscle, relax the body. Okay, so the first meditation we are doing is the 4 sublime states. Learn this loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. Learn to have loving kindness to the mosquitoes. So first, what we are doing is we familiarize ourselves with the sensations of the body. So in this routine, there's no visualization at all. Please, no visualization. So if you want, you can close your eyes and we start to feel the sensations of the body. So these sensations can be classified into the 4 elements. earth, fire, wind, water. Nothing magical about them. So earth represents any hard or soft sensation. Fire represents any temperature, hot or cold sensation. Then wind represents any kind of movement, fast or slow movement. And water represents any kind of moisture, humidity, moisture, moist or dry. So there is no need to purposely create those sensations. We let those sensations appear naturally by themselves. And whatever sensation arises, we just wish them well and happy. Intentional labeling. We let the sensation appear by itself naturally. The only intentional thing we do is the labeling. We just wish them well and happy, that's all. A new sensation arises, wishing well and happy. New sensation arises, wishing well and happy. So these 4 elements is part of mindfulness of the body. And sometimes together with it, there's also different kinds of feelings, mindfulness of feelings. So sometimes there's painful feeling or unpleasant feeling. We also wish them well and happy. We do not fight them, we do not struggle, we do not reject them. We just wish them well and happy. Make peace, make friends with them. And if you have nice sensation, also wish them well and happy. That means basically whatever appears, wish them well and happy. If you cannot classify any of the sensation beyond the 4 elements, also never mind, just wish them well and happy. Don't need to crack your head and think of what element or how to categorize. Never mind, don't care. In short, is whatever sensation appears, just wish them well and happy. So every sensation appearing are like currents of the stream. They try to push you further and further away. So we need to keep wishing it well and happy, wish it well and happy, wish it well and happy. So there's no controlling, no pulling, no pushing. Every time we wish it well and happy, we're making peace, we are slowly gearing to the middle path. Avoid this grasping and pushing. So for now, limit to just sensations and feeling. Whatever things appear, just wish it well and happy. Some sensation appear, wish it well and happy. So the more you generate this right thought, there should be a correlation. If the craving reduce or the aversion reduce, the mind should be more peaceful. So this is actually part of understanding the 4 Noble Truths. You apply the right thought, which is the Eightfold Path, and then you cease this stress, cease this tension and suffering, or reduce the tension and suffering. And every time we let the mind idle or subject ourselves to craving, that is basically clinging. We have craving and grasping and suffering. That's the first 2 Noble Truths. Okay, so we first intentionally label, wish these things well and happy. So this is called the restricted form of loving kindness within the confines of the body. Within the confines of the body. And now we are going to cultivate this boundless loving kindness. We are going to wish all beings in all directions well and happy, above, below, and all across, all directions. No need to push the mind. Let the mind extend naturally by itself. We just make a gentle aspiration, gentle wish. May all beings in all directions be well and happy. And most importantly, at this point of time, do not visualize. There's no way to visualize all sentient beings. We do not know all the species of insects, all the unseen beings. Okay, so for now, we are using this non-discriminative method. That means all sentient beings are made of these 4 elements and these 5 aggregates. So whatever sensation we detect near or far, we are going to wish all beings well and happy. So we change the phrasing of the wish. Instead of just wishing the sensation well and happy, we are going to wish all beings well and happy. All beings are made of these elements. So new sensation arise, may all beings be well and happy. New sensation arise, may all beings be well and happy. So the sensation can be inside the body or outside the body, near or far, doesn't matter. You detect something only, we wish all beings well and happy. So this is a noble wish, universal concept. So please do not restrict yourself to just thinking, I wish my loved ones or my close people. So this is universal friendliness, universal goodwill. Wish all beings well and happy. It's like wishing for world peace, world harmony. Wish all beings well and happy. Okay, if let's say the more you wish all beings well and happy, if the conditions are right, you have all the right effort, the right thought, then one may experience this right concentration. So usually this wishing all beings well and happy may result in, let's say, if there's an increment of joy and happiness arising from the restricted loving kindness, and there's some peace, and that will indicate the first level of concentration. And regardless of what you experience, keep on wishing all beings well and happy. treat everything else as this byproduct. Emphasis is on keep rowing the boat, wishing all beings well and happy. Okay, let's say you experience a drowsy kind of sensation. For those experiencing drowsy sensation, do not entertain it. That means try to divert your attention back to the four elements. Keep on wishing all beings well and happy. Okay, and now we are going to add some wisdom, some insight, and we're going to reflect how to cultivate a more unconditional kind of loving kindness. So that is to reduce this attachment to these elements or these aggregates. So we're going to observe impermanence to shake off this attachment. So all these sensations, they appear and they disappear, how they arise and pass away. So we need to do two things. First is your real-time evidence, observation. So that's number one. And number two is your intentional labeling. Once you observe any change, you can use any label associated with impermanence. You can call it impermanence, you can call it change, you can call it rising, falling, whatever favorite label you have. And the whole idea is keep repeating. Any sensation appear, and note it as impermanent, new sensation appear, impermanent. So if you do it correctly, if there is some kind of detachment, there should be a surge of joy appearing. But that is also just byproduct. Continue to keep rowing the boat, impermanent, impermanent, impermanence. Okay, let's say that joy and happiness start to disappear. One may experience neutral but refreshing kind of emotion. So we call this equanimity. And no matter what you experience, keep on rowing the boat, keep on reflecting on impermanence. So that may have a combination of the jhanic and vipassana kind of equanimity. Okay, so once you have a glimpse of that experience, then we move to the second sublime state, which is compassion. So compassion is to wish all beings free from suffering. And we are using the same non-discriminative method. So all beings, regardless of their health status, whether they're healthy or sick, or their financial status, rich or poor, as long as they cling onto the five aggregates, that will result in suffering, at least some kind of mental distress. So whenever we detect any sensation, part of the five clinging aggregates, we have to wish all beings free from suffering. So no visualization, just feel sensations and we wish all beings free from suffering. Because once you start to imagine only, very easy to cling onto that five aggregates and go into the drama, go into the story. Or how I help this person, how this person improve, how this person get worse, start to worry. So we don't get into the drama and story. Do not cling and follow the currents. Keep on rowing the boat, new sensation arise, wish all beings free from suffering. Okay, let's see all the conditions fall in place again. You have the right thought, right effort, keep on wishing all beings free from suffering. One may experience this concentrative kind of compassion, which may feel joyful. So the conventional kind of compassion is like very sorrowful, very sad. So there's the very draining kind of compassion. You keep on worrying for people. And if you overdo it or do it too long, then that will become the definition of suffering, sorrow, lamentation, despair. So now we're doing the recharging kind of compassion. Learn how to recharge first. Wish all beings free from suffering. And even all concentrated states are made of the 5 clinging aggregates. So that's why we just treat them as byproduct. Emphasis is on rowing the boat, keep on wishing all beings free from suffering. No, it's there, but byproduct, just as passing scenery when we row the boat. Do not langgar into the scenery. Continue our path. Okay, then we're going to add some wisdom to this reflection. We're going to reflect that how to overcome this suffering, how to practice this true compassion. That is to not cling onto the 5 aggregates. And we're using the same thing, reflection on impermanence, to shake off this attachment. So every sensation we observe, we need to give a label, call it rising and falling, whatever label associated with impermanence. So we keep rowing the boat no matter what happens, reflect on impermanence. Okay, so let's say the joy and happiness start to disappear again. This time round, one may experience a kind of blankness, a kind of void, or this spaciousness. So the combination of this compassion and impermanence may lead to this perception of infinite space. So it's a kind of experience or perception. So regardless of what you experience, keep on rowing the boat, keep reflecting on impermanence, do not get lost in space. And we switch to the third sublime state, which is appreciative joy. So for appreciative joy, we rejoice in the accomplishments of all beings. And we're using the non-discriminative approach again. So all beings, whether they win or lose, they'll gain a new experience in that process. So when we detect any new sensation, we'll also gain a new experience. So when we detect any sensation arising, we rejoice with all beings. New sensation appear, rejoice with all beings. New sensation appear, rejoice with all beings. Let's say all the conditions fall in place, you keep repeating, wishing, rejoicing with all beings, all the right effort and everything, then one may experience the third level of concentration, denoted by the emotion of happiness. And regardless of what you experience, keep on rejoicing with all beings. Everything is just byproduct, passing sceneries. And now we're going to add some insight, some wisdom, and we're going to reflect. All beings will eventually be separated from what they have achieved. So for this one, we are going to just observe all these sensations, how they arise and pass away. They don't stay with us 24/7, they come and go every moment. Don't have to over-imagine, next year, 10 years down the road, lose this and that. That's again caught up with drama and stories. So we just observe evidence here and now, evidence here and now. The sensation arising and passing. Okay, let's say that joyful, happy emotions start to disappear again. Then one may experience a kind of this, like the sense of self encompass the entire surroundings or meld with the entire surroundings. So there's a label for it. We call this the perception of infinite consciousness. Maybe some other systems they call it universal oneness. And regardless of what you experience, continue to keep reflecting on impermanence. Okay, then moving on to the last sublime state, which is called equanimity, and we are going to use the reflection of karma. All beings, we reap what we sow, all good and bad deeds. So for this exercise, there's no need to guess or speculate what you've done in the past. So we just observe real-time evidence here and now. Any good sensation, good feeling arise, that's due to good karmas ripening. Any bad kind of feeling arise, that's due to bad karmas ripening. And if it's a neutral feeling, then neutral karmas ripening. So in short, all experiences are conditioned by karma. Okay, let's say all the conditions are right again. We keep on reflect on karma every moment, right effort, right thought. And then one may experience this emotion of equanimity again. The mind is accepting of karma. So usually there's an indication of the fourth level of concentration, neutral and refreshing emotion. So the practice of equanimity will lead to equanimity. And regardless of what you experience, keep reflecting on karma. all states, even concentrated states, are also part of karma. And eventually we are going to add some wisdom, some insight, and we're going to reflect on how to overcome these karmas. Every time good karma ripen, we feel happy, bad karma ripen, we feel sad. So we have this mood swing problem, up and down, up and down. So to overcome or transcend this problem, we need to reflect on this mindfulness of impermanence of feelings. So all these feelings, nice feelings, unpleasant feelings, neutral feelings, how they arise and pass away. Every sensation, every feeling, how they keep changing. Every moment, new feeling, changing, new feeling, changing. Okay, let's say any joyful kind of feelings start to disappear. One may experience this another kind of blankness. So the combination of this equanimity and impermanence may lead to this perception of nothingness. So this nothingness is not the same as emptiness, different. So regardless of what you experience, keep on reflecting on impermanence, no matter how blank it is. Yeah, before we conclude the session, saying gentle reminder to everyone that we can, as long as we maintain these boundless sublime states in any of our activities, standing, sitting, walking or lying down, then this is the noblest living. And with that we can gently open our eyes, formally end the session, but informally still can generate right thought. You can wish your legs free from suffering, and move around, no worries. Okay, any questions or issues? Yeah. Okay, so for lights, normally we for this routine, we sort of treat them as passing scenery. That means we don't follow them. We just know they come and go. We just continue with our meditation routine. I come and go, never mind. Just continue with the meditation routine. Yeah. The visualization of light or focusing on the light is a different kind of meditation. So I'll talk more on that maybe afterwards. Okay. So you've been practicing the candle thing for how long? 9 months. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk more about that later. Yeah, it's a different kind of samadhi. Okay, anyone else? Any other questions or issues? Okay, no issues. Who cannot feel anything at all? No emotion. No emotion. Oh, robot. Okay. Pain. Okay. All right. But initially can this loving kindness and.
I just recite.
Okay.
And then as you go along, I just recite. That's all.
All right.
It with my breath, anything that comes up, and then if there's nothing comes up, I just recite.
Okay. So you combine with the breath.
I think
Okay. So it becomes a different meditation actually. Okay. So never mind. Okay. Anyone else cannot feel anything? Okay. So for those who cannot feel anything, we have alternative recommendation. Do you have faith in the Buddha or Triple Gem? Have Okay, so instead of wishing all beings were happy, you're going to think of this is the Thai solution. So the closest one I can find is you think of the Triple Gem blessing all beings. So this is for you. For the rest who can feel something, then continue. Wish all beings were happy. Yeah. Never mind. Okay, so you change a different object. Okay. Yeah, all these part of the elements and feelings. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. These are called hindrances. Later we talk more about that also. Hindrances. Because once we let the stream of craving carry us, then these 5 hindrances are the symptoms of suffering. So like sleepiness is one of them, greed, hatred, over anxiety, restlessness, the mind running here and there, that's also a symptom of suffering, and doubt. Anything you're not sure, keep questioning. So that is symptoms of hindrance, symptoms of suffering. Yeah.
So for me, at some point, I think I felt a sensation which was more on the negative side, and then
Sensation is what?
that's more negative.
Negative.
And then slowly my breath starts to
Okay.
fasten.
Okay.
So then I start to focus on my breath. So then what do? Because then I deliberately try to slower my breath. Because that feeling starts to increase.
Okay.
So what do I do?
Yeah, so normally don't control whatever physiological thing happen. Continue to come back to the intentional wishing.
So then let the breath just...
Yeah, don't control the breathing. Yeah. So for this particular routine, don't control the breath. Is it scary when you start to think of impermanence or what?
Karma.
Karma. When you start to think of karma, then you start to feel frightened.
Yeah, then my certain feelings just relate to that. And
Okay.
then I start to, I think, feel anxious.
Okay.
And then
Alright.
my breathing starts to increase.
Okay. Yeah, so then I come back to karma. Don't have to over dramatize or think of any scenario. Yeah, let's come back to karma. What is anxious thing? Karma. Yeah. Okay, any other issues? All okay? No issues? Okay, then we go for our self-practice. 5:30 is break time, tea break. So you can do this walking meditation. So I do sample walking since we have time. Like mentioned again, actually, in real life, you may not do this kind of walking meditation because if you walk too slow, you're late for work. So this is again just for formal practice. Okay. When you walk, ideally, the hands try not to swing. So you either put in front or behind. Front, behind. So that's for the arms to prevent distraction. Then for the feet, we walk regardless of speed. Fast, slow, actually I don't care. You walk fast or slow. So over time, the mind will adjust accordingly, or the speed will adjust accordingly to the state of mind. Because if you do too fast, you get restlessness. If you do too slow, then you get sluggish, you get drowsiness. So you play around the speed over time, you find the correct speed for the correct state of mind. But after some time, your state of mind will change again. Then you need to change the speed also. So if let's say the mind is more sensitive, naturally the speed will slow down. You tend to observe more things or investigate more things. So speed varies. There's no speed restriction. No traffic light or anything. Okay. Then when you walk, make sure you walk if let's say you want to walk all in the same area, I know there's a lot of area you can walk, make sure nobody walk perpendicularly in your path. Or you don't find a path that you can walk in someone's lane. So if let's say you see somebody walking from here to here, you try not to walk here to here. Right? Do not cross into their path. So that's the whole idea. You find some other space and walk somewhere. Okay, so that's the whole idea. And when you walk, distance also doesn't really matter. The whole idea is you find a fixed distance, can be 10 steps, 20 steps, and then you can sort of turn around so that you don't have to worry, my next set of steps have to be an increase or decrease. You'll be a same spot where you turn around. So you don't have to think too much, so you can focus and investigate more on the walking. So it doesn't matter, is it 10 steps or 20 steps, as long as you fix a certain distance, you know, okay, this is the spot that I'm going to turn, this is the spot I'm going to turn, right? So they will be more automatic, you don't need to care too much, so you focus more on your investigation or your meditation theme. So again, the walking is the same, more or less like sitting. It's just a physical hardware, it's a physical setup. So you can be doing anything in your mind, any kind of meditation. It can be a concentrated meditation, it can be insight meditation, it can be a small area, it can be an expanded area, doesn't matter. What you do in your mind, basically you have to determine what you want to do first. And then you start to investigate. So that's for the walking part. So any issues, any question? Yeah. Yeah, Bhutto, that's another kind of meditation. Yeah, so if you have been practicing that, you want to use that also can. Yeah. All right. Anyone else?
And it doesn't matter whether it's the left leg or the right leg boot toe. Because the left leg go out first and the right leg.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah, doesn't matter. Okay. Anything else? So that is more of the samatha kind of practice, yeah? Okay. If there's no issues, so I leave to your self-practice and break time. So see you all at what time again? 7. Yeah, 7 o'clock we have this evening puja, evening puja and Q&A. Okay, so see you all tonight.